the first and the foremost is that every time a government offers a cutoff where something good is happening on one side and the bad is happening on the other side, people who can afford the good would always jump in to basically cash on that good. We remember stamp duty changes in, ACT. And before the stamp duty change happened, you saw what the market did, right? It went bonkers because no one wanted to basically pay land tax versus stamp duty, right? So you would see that, there would be a sudden shift in the market for people aiming to enter into it before the cutoff or before the go live date, right? So people who have been sitting on the fence, were sitting on a lot of cash, who haven't made the decision, they'll try to basically enter in as fast as possible and use as much borrowing as possible to basically, make good of the good side of the story rather than going into the bad side of the story, right? What you would also see is, there would be a higher competition in smaller markets because, buyers who were playing in bigger markets previously, sustainably, right? They would jump into smaller markets, right? You would see that change coming through because they would be like, okay, I need to maximize my returns now. And so if I can't play in the bigger market because the interest rates are high or I don't have the servicing, I'll jump into a smaller market and grab stock there because ultimately, I want to make sure that, I'm not paying any capital gains tax or I'm still getting benefits of the negative gearing, right? And so I would personally be very surprised that you would not see major shifts in major markets, but you would see major shifts in smaller markets where the typical median price would move quite quickly for people trying to push in and, jump into these areas. And government expect this, they know that the market is going to jump quite a bit. And because these are federal changes, these are not state-based changes, these impacts would be universal across all different states.
Oh, Australia, yeah.
And so while the notion from government's perspective is, we want to make life affordable and we want to make property affordable, it always backfires to the governments because that's not how investors think. They jump in to cash in on what's benefiting them now without thinking them a long-term benefit. And so they will move the median so much that, it becomes even more unaffordable for people who have been playing in the smaller markets because they're like, these people from bigger markets have come in and started playing. People playing in the leagues are now playing in our county. Basically, that's what starts ending up happening. So these are some of the major changes that you would see typically in some of these areas. The other thing to also consider is the building shortages.
Yeah, so this is where we're seeing it kick off a bit of a vicious cycle, aren't we? With it, people, you've got the first movers who are going to be triggering, and they're onto what the government's doing, so they're going to be making those first moves into, all right, well, I better get this in place now. I want to take advantage of what the good stuff that's in place now, just in case it's going to, because I can see that it's going to possibly negatively be impacted for any future purchases. And so they're going to have that first mover advantage. But then there's going to be that trickle effect of people who are suffering from FOMO going, oh my goodness, now they see what's happening. They're going to there's a bit of a race against time to get that in. So what does that mean? That this market pressure from an like a price perspective for properties in these sort of lower, not so much established suburbs. It's more the established suburbs, but obviously some of the lower priced properties as well. They're going to be fresher to move forward, and then it kicks off a cycle of, well, then rents are going to go up. Because there's
100%.
So then we're sort of kicking, that vicious cycle, and whether it's a vicious cycle, it's a cycle of some sort, right?
100%.
But going back to your point around providing affordable housing, I often think there's a little bit of lip service there when then you have these policies that really impact the way that investors are purchasing, that are going to really radically affect then that availability of affordable housing.
Definitely.
And affordable.